Hi everyone, welcome to the How to Build a Website Masterclass. Thank you so much for joining us. What we'll be covering is why you need a website, some of the fundamental basics to get online, some important considerations, and there'll be time for live Q&A at the end. So what we'd love you to do is close down all possible distractions. I know it's hard, but it's really important to try to focus on this 1 hour class. So close down all your browsers, turn off Netflix, grab a notebook and pen to jot down some all-important notes, and most importantly, pour yourself a glass of wine like Karina and I are right now. What we'll be offering for 20 lucky viewers is 20 free professional website audits for those who stay on the line until the very end. So this is a special bonus. We'll be able to track who has stayed on the line. So it's very important that you grab that special bonus. So a little bit about us. Karina and I have a collective experience of over 15 years in digital marketing. I have a web design and development background. I've run 2 successful e-commerce stores.
And I am a digital marketer and I was a content creator or worked in publishing prior to that, and actually got my start or met Hayley in our publishing job a decade ago before I decided to skill up in digital. And now I help everyone get their websites ranked in Google via SEO and some email marketing as well. So I guess that's what I've got to contribute to the presentation tonight, as well as being Hayley's sidekick, in that, it's obviously important in terms of your website to make sure that it's Google friendly. So we'll get into that, and they're the types of considerations that Hayley is always addressing when building websites and teaching others how to build a really good website as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go back to the early days. So this is a picture of me with my preemie daughter, India. She was born 10 weeks early, and I actually went into labour while I was on a ferry with Karina. So we didn't have a business back then. We were just best friends. We worked in publishing together. And this is me, and she was in hospital for a long time, a couple of months, almost 3 months. So there was a lot of time to think. And as you can appreciate, there was a lot of time she just needed to grow. So she was a well baby. There were no hit and miss situations. She just simply was there to grow. And I used that time to really think about my life and how I wanted to, use that time to really think about what I wanted to do, and really think about my life. And I come from a family of entrepreneurs, and I really wanted to be one as well. And I thought this is a really good time to brainstorm my ideas.
For some people, maybe they thought not the best timing, but I guess it was a new opportunity for you and new life as well. So
that's right. Yeah. So I got a notebook and pen and wrote down some ideas, and I ended up just going onto Gumtree and having a look at some of the businesses for sale. And I've always loved baby clothes, just been a bit of a secret obsession. And so I was going to buy another business, and that's when Max and Ollie were born. I reached out to distributors. I, Googled how to set up a website, and BigCommerce came up. It's a self-hosted platform. And I thought this is the way to go. But I started to get really frustrated because, as you can appreciate, BigCommerce is very limiting, and I found myself on the phone to support every day and spending more and more time, with developers trying to change every tiny little thing.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I mean, it would have been, a bit of a, like you're at their mercy even.
Yeah. And I ended up having to pay a fortune in development costs, and my monthly fee went up because of all the add-ons I needed to spend. So I became really frustrated and looked for other solutions.
And I don't think, unlike lots of, I guess, business owners getting started, and lots of people probably find themselves in a similar position.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you can get yourself worked up in a knot, and anybody that knows me, I like to just think that I guess I know better in a way.
Well, you probably do.
Well, Yeah, and sometimes I just think, look, I guess I'm a bit of a control freak and I like to do things my way, and I've decided to build my own. So I built my first WordPress website, and, I would spend countless sleepless nights, while I was rocking my newborn baby and getting on YouTube and reading blogs and, signing up to lots of courses to build my own website.
So I guess it was a reason why you went into baby wear, given that the new baby and everything.
Yeah.
And that's little India pictured there, nice and healthy, a few months of down the track from then.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really honed in on my skills. I guess I had time because, I had a baby and, I wasn't technically working. So I used that time to learn all about WordPress. I'm so glad that I made the switch, because I ended up using it as a real skill to help others in similar situations. They were perhaps starting out and they were startups or mumpreneurs, and I really wanted to find a way to help others. So I ended up, building websites for others. And
was that the case with this one, with Lux? What's the backstory for Lux Fine Foods?
Yeah, so word of mouth got out there, and I ended up, creating a few sites, and I got the Lux website gig through word of mouth. So, she came to me and she wanted some branding and a new website, and I built this site for her, and she was super happy, really, really happy. And I realized that, the more I kept learning, the more I kept self-teaching, the better that I got. So, and
if that's one of your first websites that you helped build, then I'm pretty impressed by that.
Thanks.
And you're saying you just through that together?
Yeah, it really wasn't that hard. And I think that's when I first, started to run into roadblocks with big commerce and self-hosted platforms, because when I started to do the research, I realized that putting together a WordPress website, it really isn't that hard, and if I can do it, just sort of anybody else can. And I found I had a passion for creating. I think I was quite proud of the websites that I was creating, and it's kind of like my happy creative place. I would just get on there and learn new things. And
I wonder if it's because you came from obviously a business owner background and the need to make sales. And so you looked at a website straight up as not just something aesthetically pleasing, but something that had to function and make sense and be logical.
Yeah.
I don't know, it could have been a bit of a puzzle that you wanted to solve.
And I guess when it started to come together and I could make a mobile tablet responsive website, that was kind of, really rewarding, because I was starting to create a full business around it. And I was actually getting really good at being able to create these websites, because I got a lot of happy feedback from clients, which just shows that, you're sort of going in the right direction, and, increased my confidence, just like Susan from Kinesiology Effect. She was another one of my early clients, I guess you could say. And she came to me with some really basic requirements. She wanted it mobile tablet responsive. Her existing website was not. She wanted a lead generation site. So she just said, look, Hayley, I've got no sales. My website's atrocious. My bounce rate is high. I need my website to convert for me. I need a better website. What can you do? So
I just love that she came to you. I mean, that's pretty savvy of her to understand the things that she was lacking.
Yeah.
Particularly there, the mobile responsiveness, because over half of users now, or traffic, actually comes from mobile or tablet. And people are still designing websites desktop first, or not even considering that people might want to access a website from mobile, which basically you can lose half your potential customers. So it's really awesome. And I know that you do a huge education piece around that, making sure that people understand the importance of mobile responsiveness. So it's awesome that Susan knew that from the get-go.
She really did. Yeah, Susan, it was a high priority. And, back when I had my boutique bamboo store, I was very surprised to learn that 98% of my customers came from mobile tablet responsiveness. So, I knew from quite early on the priority and how important it was, and how easy it was to achieve, So Susan had really great results. In the end, she had more visitors, which led to more clients, and her return on investment was huge. So for a small initial outlay, she got a brand new site that even to this day is still working for her. It's, bringing in regular sales and leads, and she's got more clients than she can handle, and she still gives me a glowing review. I mean, this is years and years later. So Yeah, she was just a really big standout client, you know. She saw a 500% increase in sales, and this is back when, you know, I implemented the site and when we launched, and you know, she got lots of client love. Even to this day, you know, I touched base with her recently, and she was just saying how she still gets comments on her website, and that's not all from, you know, from what I did for her. It's the way she's managed the site and uploaded content and managed the site from there. Because obviously,
I was going to say, like, obviously, what's the, you know, sneak peeks, or what do you think was the winning combination for why she saw 500% increase in sales? You know, was it to do with her images or her messaging, the opt-in, or was it a combination of everything?
I think it was a really professionally designed website that had a great user experience. So when they came onto the website, they knew exactly what they were getting, you know, really good, really good ranking in Google. So customers were able to find her more easily, which led to more sales and more leads. And it had a knock-on effect because that just grew over time. The more blogs she added, her website kind of had a rippling effect.
And so, I guess being on WordPress as well, that in itself, you know, it's very Google friendly. So customers were able to find her through Google.
Definitely, yeah. So much more easier than her old site, which was on a self-hosted platform. Yeah, and, you know, these are really conservative figures. To this day, she's still receiving, you know, an enormous amount of leads and sales, and yeah, we just have to be really conservative about those figures. Yeah,
and because it's her asset, I guess, that she can on sell at any time, she has those channels and her website already set up. You know, that it's, I guess, not a set and forget. But I know, you know, you've obviously worked with clients that have seen even better results. But you know, Susan, you know, has politely given permission for you to share those numbers. But in terms of what you've told me, and I guess what I know from being in that industry, that's pretty conservative, and you can actually, you know, see a really bigger uplift than that.
And I think that, you know, she kind of she could have kept going with her old website and kept trying to tweak it and refine it and, you know, keep going and persevering, or she took the leap. And yeah, she's obviously glad that she did, because you know, the return on investment was huge for her. And yeah, through my help, she learned how to operate her website moving forward, which is, so she gained an education in, you know, an understanding of her platform as well, which is really important.
I guess that's the thing about websites, because it's a tangible product. People perhaps think that they pay for it and then it's done. And I guess it can be if you don't want to, you know, make too many changes, but most business owners have new products to add, and there's upkeep. And, you know, I guess by you empowering business owners to update themselves, then they don't actually have to be at the mercy of web developers. And I say that knowing that, Hayley, you are a web developer, but you go the education route and make sure that people actually know you, once you hand over those keys, here's the manual, and this is actually how everything works and operates, and the moving parts. And more so, I guess, when the business owner has been involved with the website build the whole way through, because I guess you're almost building it together in that way.
Yeah, and then they know what to look for when something goes wrong on their website, and that they have an understanding of how everything operates. Should they, you know, have another crack? Or in Susan's case, she may want to decide to create her own website next time, because she does have that full understanding. So, you know, a lot of people out there sort of say, look, I'm doing really well on Instagram and I'm already on Facebook. You know, why do I even need a website? And I think that one of the biggest reasons is...
I hear that a lot, by the way. Yeah, lots.
You cannot rely on social media alone. You know, it's all good and well to have a really thriving Instagram account, and you can generate a lot of sales on there. We're not sort of saying to ditch it altogether, and you can have even a thriving business just on Facebook alone. But the problem is you don't actually own those platforms. And the reality is that Instagram and Facebook, well, they're one and the same now, they can take it from you at any time.
which you know about.
Welcome to me in Insta jail. So I just needed the bars up, didn't I? This is actually me with my bad head, writing down a code that they said you need to write a picture, take a picture of you with this code, your name and your business. I hadn't done anything untoward or, I was following all the practices, but for no reason, they took my Instagram account away, and it was really hard to get in contact with support. Instagram don't have support, so I had to track down their Facebook page. I never got a reply. I eventually got my Instagram account back, but that was a reminder that things can go wrong.
Yeah, and I think that's
control.
Ever increasing as well with platforms like Instagram. They're notorious for not allowing you to use third parties for scheduling tools. There's the recent shadow ban with hashtags. And I recently spoke to a business owner who was actually a travel blogger. And, she built her whole following on Instagram, which is often, a great place to start before you have a website. But you should definitely make the jump to creating or building a website, because she actually went to Insta jail as well. And unlike you, Hayley, she didn't have a website, and that was her livelihood. So she was doing lots of the paid posts and sponsored posts with products, and straight away that's her revenue channel just completely dried up.
Completely.
Yeah, and
wow.
I know, a lot of people, because they hear about these horror stories, and they are genuinely horror stories when it's your business, have started to set up 2 accounts in Instagram, so they can build a second account just in case something does happen to their main account, that they're still covered. But that's a lot of work,
It's a lot of work, and really, you don't really have a lot of control. Just like Sarah. So Sarah owns Freshwater Taxation, and her Facebook account was actually hacked into.
And she's one of your friends, hey?
Yeah. So she put this post up, and, she sort of just said that her Facebook page was hacked into. She didn't understand why. She'd written to Facebook, which have a pretty good support, but they couldn't, just instantly give back her Facebook page, her hard-earned Facebook page that she'd worked up 3,500 fans over 5 years. It's a long time, and all her data, everything was gone. So she never got it back, and she just thought she's losing out on, potential clients by not having it up. So she just created a new one. So she was really stressed about that, and really she never really knew how much she sort of relied on her website.
So I can see here it's gone from 3,500 likes to 247.
Yeah, she had to start a brand new page, and she never got it back.
Yeah, super disappointing.
So why would you even need a website? So here are some of the key important points, definitely for credibility. So if you're a service-based business and somebody wants to check you out to, review your business and what you do, you need to have a website. They're not going to look you up on Instagram or just Facebook and
I think
take your word for it.
Important point. Like if you're a smaller business and you're getting your leads at the moment, and I'll make that point, at the moment, word of mouth or somewhere else, you might not want to be driving any leads from your website, but it's still the first thing that people check, just to make sure that you're a legit business.
You're real.
Yeah. And even, I guess, if you have a bricks and mortar store, even before they come and visit your store, they're searching you on Google to find a contact number, to give you a call, book an appointment, or even, it could be word of mouth, but they can actually book you direct from your website. So that's where that credibility and professionalism piece really comes into play.
It's the first digital touch point. So, they'll check you out online to make sure that, it's the first judgment. Often it's the first impression that you get to make.
And the only one.
The only one.
Yeah.
First impressions count. And then it's obviously to drive sales. So you may be generating sales from your Instagram account, which is great, but I imagine that's a long-winded manual process. Perhaps somebody just emails you an order. You can drive a lot more sales, at any time by a website if it's set up properly, and if you invest a bit of time to learn how to, implement a shopping cart.
And get your marketing message correct, have an opt-in.
Yeah.
Lots of things that you can do once you have the basics and the bones of your website down.
Definitely. It's obviously convenient. So once you set it up, then it's just there and it can work over for you again and again, especially, fielding inquiries if you're service-based,
especially if you pop live chat on there. So
definitely, yeah.
Working for you when you're not working, and also convenient for customers as well.
Definitely, yeah. Accessible around the clock. And, if somebody's considering buying from you, might be convenient for them, to go onto your website and have a browse and come back to your website and check you out. So, yeah, and accessible around the clock at any time in any country at different times.
That means you're making sales while you're asleep?
Technically, yes.
Yeah. If it's set up.
If it's set up properly.
Or automation.
And obviously cost effective. So, yeah, once you set up your website and hopefully it's on WordPress, you set it up and you have it configured properly, it should work for you at a really cost-effective level. And marketing, yeah, so if you, have your brand message, placed really well on your website with a bit of a strategy behind it, it can market your business for you without you having to lift a finger, really.
And then I guess also once, you're getting down the path of wanting to do paid advertising online, this sounds quite basic, but I think some people kind of don't realize how everything all connects up. You need to attach that ad to a digital home, which is your website, or a landing page, which can be housed on your website. So, someone, when they click through your Facebook ad, they've got to go somewhere.
Yeah. And not just to anywhere, somewhere strategic.
So not having a website prevents you from, I guess, even doing any digital advertising.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it can be a real sort of, missing link, I guess you could say, to your business. And yeah.
Wait for all these words to fly away.
Clever, right? Just like Connie from Watching Pictures. So, she had an Instagram account. She's sort of prime example. She had a thriving Instagram account. She is a flat lay photographer. And what she came to the realization that she really needed to move on from just having an Instagram account. She really wanted to be taken seriously as a business,
That looks like a serious website.
Yeah. So this website is quite involved, and, the objective was to, if potential clients were looking at her Instagram account, she needed to be taken seriously as a business and, not just be contactable. She said that she felt embarrassed by just having an Instagram account and that she needed to, have a website, so to take her business to the absolute next level. And it's also motivation as well. She was, I guess, once she had the website out there, she would hopefully move on from a side hustle to a real business.
I imagine that every time you're kind of saying, DM me or PM me, often you can just send a link and that takes care of all of the conversation because it has all your information in the one place, plus the contact us form.
That's right.
So your inquiry gets sent straight to you. It's all configured. So hopefully that's working well for her. I mean, it looks super professional and another great place for her to display her portfolio work, I guess.
Yeah, in multiple different ways with galleries and, her portfolio and
her favorites and picks.
Yeah, and she really wanted her brand to represent her ability and, also her prices. Yeah, she really wanted to, obviously for potential clients to find her business in Google. It's not enough to just find it in Instagram. And this would give her a better opportunity to be able to, for potential clients to find her, searching by her keywords and her name.
It sounds like it's worked quite nicely, and why wouldn't it with a website that looks so nicely? So that's built on WordPress?
Built on WordPress, and she's finding it really easy to navigate, and so are her new clients, hopefully.
Great.
Definitely. So I thought I'd just go back and tell you a little bit more about the baby wear store that I've begun.
That's the thing, because you had two as well. So Max and Ollie, and then Petite Bamboo.
That's right, yeah.
Overachiever.
That I've since sold, since setting up. So the reason I formulated this business, and I mean properly, was when I was fired when I was 8 months pregnant. I was working part-time in a job that I absolutely loved, and, had all plans to go back to work when they advised that, there was no longer a position available for me. So I was gutted. But I remember sitting on the front steps outside our house crying at the prospects of not having a job to go back to after I had our third baby. And my husband sort of saying, maybe this is, happened for a reason. You can turn petite bamboo into something that was really real, which is exactly what I did. And it just made me more determined to succeed. I guess it became, really real when I had to start looking at things financially and planning out, my months to make sure that I was bringing in a salary, and I really had to, make a go of it. And I really worked on turning it into the real deal, not a side hustle while I was working. I kind of, had more time to invest. I would stay up late at night and pack orders and really give it my heart and soul. And I'm so grateful I lost my job back then, because I wouldn't be.
Well, you wouldn't be on this masterclass, that's for sure.
I know. And I put everything in. This is an organic baby wear wrap. And I had to learn everything myself, So I ended up replacing my income quite significantly. And I now can't imagine going back and working for the man. It would just never happen.
Not on the radar.
Not on the radar. And, I am completely self-taught. Obviously, I looked into all different avenues to learn. And for me, online learning was the way to go. I did so many online courses and watched YouTube videos and read, and through trial and error, and started small and worked my way up.
And you got there, obviously. I mean, you built not one, but two.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So I didn't learn how to custom design. So that's what I do today, and I absolutely love it. My success really did become very real, because no longer was it just, what my husband used to say, just some little part-time gig on the side. It became, my income. And I found that I could duck out and, go to things like this, my son's graduation, and be there for my newborn baby at all times and not have to leave his side. And, it was really rewarding. As my son started school, I could, be canteen mum and be reading mum and, make things.
And do you think, the website kind of anchored everything together with your business, and it was the reason why, I guess you could duck out and do these things and know that your website was taking care of sales?
Yeah, definitely. I would spend my days, packing orders, and all those orders came from my website, purely. And if I didn't have a robust, professional looking website, that would have never have happened,
So you obviously loved it.
I loved it. This is me loving it right here.
And you want to pass the joy and empower, it sounds like, other business owners, or I guess people that don't even classify themselves as business owners yet, that are still saying that, it's just something I do on the side.
Yeah.
A website really makes it real. Yeah,
that's right. And I really wanted to inspire others to really branch out and do their own thing, because it's entirely possible, and so this is me and all my achievements. And don't get me wrong, definitely had lots of failures along the way. I think you learn and grow from them. At the time, I forgot to back up a client's site. Not my finest moment. However, I learned from it. I learned that, I need to sort out backing up all client sites as a very first step, and put on the right plugins on the website so that, that could never happen again. I learned which hosting, because it was a hosting issue as well. At the time, I had to rebuild a whole website because of my mistake. And so I'm human. These things do happen, and I've made lots of mistakes, as we all have. And I really do think you learn and grow from them over time. And I'm sure I'll make more.
I guess your list of mistakes, or, must not ever do again, has turned into a list of tips and helpful hints for clients. You don't want them to go down the same path because you've already done it. And you're continually adding to that list, of
that's
mistakes.
Right.
But, I guess you learn from them.
Absolutely learn from them. And I think you grow as a businesswoman.
So I guess putting it all together, it must have taken some time to work out what the magic formula was.
Yeah, I mean, years really, and through trial and error, through optimizing and examining what works and what doesn't, and really creating a formula around the right way to build a website from start to finish, in what order, the absolute essentials, and there is a formula to make it convert for you and for it to be a success.
And you've tried and tested the formula obviously, and I guess given all of the different ways of achieving a website a go. So you do know.
And I've lived through it. So, yeah. So what are your options? Now, you can go down the self-hosting route like I did and explore that, or you can
so that's BigCommerce, Shopify,
Big Cartel, Squarespace, Wix.
Yeah.
Or you could hire a web designer and have that outlay, or you could give it a crack yourself through self-learning, much like I did. So Shopify, great if you're starting out, it all looks pretty on the outside, but don't forget you need to customize that theme, and you have to pay Shopify for, a monthly cost.
Ongoing.
It's quite premium, ongoing.
Yeah.
And every time you add something to the site, you have to pay for that extension. And the cost can really creep up.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm here, I guess, for my digital marketing expertise and working closely with Hayley at how websites, come into play with digital marketing. And, I work with websites day in, day out, maybe not building them, but I have to make little edits and alterations and add tracking code, which is, where we can finally find some metrics as to the users visiting a website. And self-hosted platforms like Shopify, it can be really difficult to make the little edits that I need as a digital marketer, and even do something really simple like embed some tracking codes so that I can get some numbers as to visitors to the website. So I guess it's, the down the track stuff when you're bringing a digital marketer on board, or you're doing some marketing for yourself, or you're having a sale and you want to change the look and feel. It can be a bit difficult in some self-hosted platforms, and you don't discover it until later down the track.
That's right. So really, the foundation of who you choose as a platform is super important, and you should take time to do the research on which platform to go with. Similar with Squarespace, it all looks pretty, but if it's limited in capabilities, you're going to run into errors down the track.
Yeah, I think something like Squarespace is great, perhaps maybe for a blogger that's getting started, but certainly not for e-commerce or for a real business, because it looks pretty, but the functionality is terrible. There's no shopping cart, or it's not easy, payment platform, all the things that you need to, I guess, sell your products and accept payment for your products.
The most important thing. You are a business. And
or service.
Yeah. Leads. So Wix doesn't have the best reputation, can be known to actually derank your website. So I don't know whether they've corrected the error now. Who knows?
I think they're making improvements, but I think just the general consensus is just still to stay away. I think as a business owner, you can be it's a really attractive initial offering, which is, a free offering, but you don't get to customize your domain, which means you're always on the crappy Wix domain, which doesn't look very professional, which is one of the reasons why you would have a website. You can't customize it easily. So again, that's speaking to that professionalism point, as in you don't look very professional, and customers can't find you in Google. So I really have to wonder what the point is with Wix.
Absolutely. I know. Free isn't always the best. So the problem with self-hosted platforms is you don't actually own the website, which I don't know whether a lot of people know,
Yeah, you can't then on-sell it. I mean, I guess you could, but it'd be very difficult, I guess, to sell an asset that's not really yours, to say, by the way, you're paying me a certain amount for this website, but you still have to continue paying. That doesn't make sense to me, and it's not a very attractive offer. So it makes it difficult, I guess, when you make it big, to exit your business easily. Or halfway through thinking about it, that's when you might turn around and say, maybe WordPress was the better option. I've got to make the big switch now. You've got more products, you've got more content to transfer. That becomes a headache when you could have, I guess, made a better choice in the beginning.
Definitely. And it's all about learning from the beginning, because the premium that you're paying per month is really for their support. But if you have that education to begin with and you know your website back to front, you shouldn't need to pay, Shopify or BigCommerce. You shouldn't need to pay anyone to have that support because you know it and you know how to fix it and you know how to update it and run a promo and operate your website. And you want it to be your asset for one day if you sell the business, And so limited in capabilities. And you may not understand this right now, but as your business grows and evolves, you'll want to add different things to your website and you may not know how, and which you can run into quite a lot of issues down the track. So it's important to pick your platform from the beginning, such as WordPress. So those are the top.
So flying words again.
So clever. Another option is you could hire a web designer, which is a good option if you just kind of want to throw in the towel and go, right, I'll just hire a web designer.
And that's, businesses, they're specialists at their own services. And often when you're getting your business off the ground, you're so focused on defining your service offering or your products, and you just want to shelve the website, which is fine as well. But I guess, there is an opportunity to tackle it yourself if possible because of all the downsides of a web designer. And I guess I can speak to that more than Hayley, given that Hayley is a web designer. And, there's taking it off your hands, but you also become at the mercy of them.
Yeah. And, a lot of clients, they'll sort of run either way. They could either, when in the decision making in the early days, they might say to me, okay, I'm not sure whether to design it myself or hire you. And some actually go away and they do design it themselves and they do a really good job because it really isn't that hard,
With web designers as well, I guess I'm interested to know for the project duration, the time it takes from a scope or, I guess a brief, which I'm guessing a lot of clients come to you without having any idea about that. So you have to work on that scope and what the website looks like and how they want it to operate and I guess the purpose for it to it being delivered. How long does that typically take?
It can take months.
Yeah.
Really.
I know that you have your processes down pat and very efficient, but, are you waiting for so long because it takes long to build or it's the communication piece back and forth or a combination of everything?
Yeah, it's very time consuming because clients have to convey exactly what they're looking for to me and I have to interpret that and follow their brief. And if they're not good communicators or for some reason I don't understand their brief, then it can be really time consuming and costly. Whereas, it could take anywhere from, 6 weeks to a few months to get a website developed. And, they're working to my timeframes and my deadlines.
And how many clients you have on your books.
Exactly. And it's very expensive, it can cost anywhere between $1,500 and $10,000. It's an expensive process because you're paying a developer to put it together for you, and it costs to fix every little thing. Whereas if you had the education and you invest in your own self-learning, then you could actually fix those things yourself. You're not having to pay a developer their hourly rate to fix.
So I guess that's the website maintenance stuff where, there's going to be things that go wrong or there's no way that you're not going to add a new product to your range after the website is handed over to you. And I guess that's, a fee every time if you're not also paying an ongoing maintenance for, a certain number of fixes per month.
That's right. Yeah, you really are at the mercy of them, unfortunately.
And a content management system, which is the back end for updating the website, which again, as a digital marketer, I use all the time. That's where I live. So I can't tell you how necessary that is. That's how you add blog articles to your website. Change any of your page titles or your links, new content on your website. For example, I guess if you check out Afterpay or Zip Money, which, they help you customers pay installments. And I have heard that it increases conversions a lot.
Tenfold,
if you're wanting to, add some advertising about Afterpay on your homepage, you can't do that well, you can't do that unless you are a developer, or you have access to a CMS, which is the content management system, which is the back end of your website where you can upload and change things super easily.
Definitely. Or you could go down the DIY route.
Which is what you did initially.
Definitely, yeah. And so why would you go down this path? So it's an opportunity to invest in yourself. And that sounds a little cheesy, but there's really no other way to describe it, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we don't want to sound all, sort of cliche, I guess you could say, but investing in yourself and your own learning will empower you as a business owner to set up your website. And or if down the track you want to grow again, and even if you hire a developer, you have an understanding.
I was actually going to say, because a lot of the learning that I do, I don't want to become an expert in that field, and I might be less inclined to take the course if I think that it's going to take me a lot longer to become an expert. But that's not the purpose for my learning all the time. It's so that I can get skilled up and so that I can make the right choices, especially in business down the track. When you do have budget and you want to hire people to do these things for you, take your website even to the next level, that you are educated enough to, I guess, not be ripped off and to understand the scale and what's involved. That's just being empowered, really.
Totally empowered, yeah. And so learn as your business evolves.
So as it scales, yeah.
Yeah, and as your business grows, you might want to run a promotion on your website. You might want to add more blog articles, or you may want to redesign it. So if you've initially had a web developer to design your website and your business has changed, a lot since then, you may want to, redesign it. So you can change your website to be more catered towards exactly what you want and exactly what grow as your business grows. Karina and I have redesigned ID Digital twice, almost 3 times now.
Yeah, I think it's due for another redesign now. And I would hate to be, obviously being in business with a developer is very handy. But I would hate to be limited. I would hate to limit my creativity just because I didn't have the know-how or know what was involved just to change some messaging. We're constantly releasing new material, and that needs to be housed on our website. So we have to make sure that we update the content to reflect the newness of our business.
That's right. We had professional photos done, and our old website just didn't have the ability to showcase those websites. So
the photos.
Photos. Yeah, definitely. So I think that's why we're all about self-learning. So basically, I can teach you how to create a gorgeous and professional website, really solidly built on WordPress that you can rely on, a robust,
that you can build on. It's like the basis of a building block.
Yeah, definitely. But, ultimately it's not just about building the website. It's creating a website that ultimately converts for you over and over, and that will bring in sales and leads time and again, because it's built correctly from the very beginning. Obviously brings in lots of sales and leads every single day. And as sure many of you can relate to this saying, build it and they will come.
How many clients do you have where you hand over the website and they think, well, where's my traffic? I know that actually happened to a friend of mine very recently, someone that I would definitely consider switched on. And I'm not calling anyone, that doesn't understand that when they build a website, that doesn't mean instant customers not savvy, but it's certainly, I think you can get caught up in the excitement. The business is real to you. You've been working on it for so long, and the website is the final piece. Except it's not the final piece,
I know, just because you put it together doesn't mean that you'll instantly get sales and leads in. I've had clients who say, look, you've built the website and I type my name into Google and it's nowhere to be found. It takes a lot of time, and really it takes a strategy before the website's even built, and it really takes a solid direction before you even.
So knowing that you have the business background, in that you built 2 websites on the back of your 2 baby wear businesses, and that we're in business together, and we talk about digital marketing all the time. I guess before I was going to say pen to paper, because I'm used to saying that as a writer, put, your finger to keyboard and start building. It's all about the purpose and why you're building what you're building and what the strategy is. So the website isn't some another meaningless website out there just because someone thinks that they should get a website. They understand the reason as to why they're online.
Definitely. I see people in a lot of business owners in Facebook groups say, can I have feedback on my website? It's not converting for me. I'm struggling to get sales.
And anyone that's still on the line, there's 20 website audits up to grab at the end. So that's exactly what Hayley will be helping you with.
So please stay on till the end. Special bonus.
Yeah.
So it really is all about having a web strategy. It's super important to really think strategically before you even go ahead. I love just getting a pen and paper and writing down a bit of a mud map and really thinking about some key elements that will convert for me and thinking about the user experience in mind. Definitely.
User experience, it's all about that. I think we can get really caught up in how I think it should look, at the end of the day, you don't matter. It's the customers that matter. So you have to try and sit back and consider, like, if I was a customer coming to my website for the first time, I might not know what my product's about. So therefore, on the homepage, I should definitely make sure it's really descriptive and I'm explaining what my business proposition is. So, working in that way means that when you're putting your home page together, it is more meaningful and more likely to convert.
Yeah, it's not just sort of slapping it together and hoping for the best. It's really taking a deep dive into your brand and looking at the aesthetics with the functionality to make sure that it's all paired together.
It sounds like not getting bogged down with the technical stuff and leading with the user or the reason that you got into business in the first place, leading with that when you're approaching a website.
Yeah, definitely. Because, there's so many elements that go into creating a successful website.
You say elephants.
Elephants.
How many elephants does it take to create a website?
Almost.
Yeah.
You really can't afford to have a shoddy website in this day and age. A poor design reflects really poorly on your brand, especially if that digital touch point is the first that they'll, impression of your business. And if it's poorly designed because you've, done a rush job on Shopify or Squarespace.
Just to get something up.
Yeah.
So a dog's breakfast, basically.
I know that they can't navigate around. Well, they're going to think poorly of you and your business, and they may not come back to you. Yes, as we mentioned, being at the mercy of your designer for 8 weeks with no sales. So, in all that time, you could be putting together your own website instead of waiting.
And learning, then knowing like all the info that you need to pass that on to somebody else later when you're ready to take it to the next level or maintenance, ongoing maintenance, you'll know that from here on out.
Exactly. And calls to action that lead nowhere means you're missing out on a lot of sales. So if you've got a website that looks pretty okay and, but it's not working for you, perhaps your calls to action are just not strong enough, which means that you could be missing out on sales. For example, we had a contact us form that wasn't working on our website, and we don't know how long it wasn't working for. And so, it's really important to ensure that you have the know-how to, double check things and you know how to fix them, and, you don't have to rely on a developer to fix
because I can imagine that chain of events is by the time you discover it, and that's, a kind customer letting you know. And people are busy in their day, so they often don't do that. By the time you find out and then work out who it is that you need to contact and approach that person, maybe the person that built your website, a year ago, they're so busy, it's such a small thing on their radar that you're not even on their radar. We're already talking 4 or 5 weeks down the track for it potentially still not to be resolved. And that's the contact us form. That's, I guess, your lifeline to your customers. That needs to be operational at a bare minimum.
That's right, yeah. And you need to know how to fix it if, something goes wrong. And you're doing your business a disservice if you don't have any strategy or clear message behind it. So let's get into it. I mean, obviously we've mentioned WordPress. It is the leading market player in terms of platforms.
So this is where you should be getting out your notepads and scribbling if you haven't already filled up some pages.
And to give you an idea, WordPress is the leading market player. Disney, NBN use it. Yeah, so it's the vast majority use WordPress.
It's funny because, even as I come across what I would consider, super big companies and professional companies, to find out that their back end is WordPress, I used to be surprised just because, years ago, WordPress's main reputation was just with blogs, but it's come such a long way to know that these big giants are using WordPress. It must say something about the platform.
That's right. It's no longer just a mere blogging tool. It's got WooCommerce that you can integrate for an online shopping store, and virtually anything integrates with it. It's up there. So WordPress, I love it because it's also for free.
I think, as a big corporation, you would have to have a very big case to why you would get something custom built when something so robust and readily available and known, is available to build your website on.
That's right. Yeah. And so we recommend, in terms of hosting, we recommend SiteGround. So, what you may not know is that WordPress is free. It's an open source software. However, you do need a place for it to live on the internet, which is where hosting comes into play. And so we recommend SiteGround for hosting, mainly because it's so cost effective. I think it's about $4.95 a month, $4.95 a month. So the price of a cup of coffee simply to get your website online. So there's no extortionate monthly premium costs like Shopify and Squarespace and all the self-hosted platforms. So for the price of a cup of coffee, you can actually get online. And now I sound like a Demtel ad.
That did a bit. So you get a free mop as well? No, I mean, I think it can take a long time for, people to discover the real price of hosting.
I know.
Because in something like a self-hosted platform, those fees are embedded, or I guess, they're all encompassing with the monthly fee. And you think that you're paying for your website to be online when really there's a lot of hidden costs there, and the majority of them are actually just to the self-hosted platform. So just for you to be able to use the functionality, which you probably have only used a few times, and left your website. So
definitely.
Another thing that you need with your website is a theme.
It's a beautiful theme. So once you've got the bare bones, so I guess you could say the skeleton, you need to add a beautiful theme in order to make it look pretty and professional. And you wouldn't believe, but Theme Forest have an enormous library. You can simply go online here to themeforest.net, search in the WordPress section under your industry, say corporate, for service-based business. And I even like going to the creative section because they have some really cutting-edge designs, and you'll be so inspired. So if you go into each one, have a look at the demo link, which will show you a live view of what your website would actually look like. I see time and again people struggling because they go on to, say, Shopify, and they can't pick a theme, and, it could be quite limited, and then they wonder how they're going to actually customize it. It can be a real issue. So Theme Forest is definitely my top pick in terms of a library.
So you go and register for WordPress, and then you get your hosting sorted with SiteGround, and then you go on to Theme Forest and pick a lovely theme.
Yeah.
So it's sounding pretty easy already.
Yeah, so many to choose from. Absolutely. And including lots of different e-commerce designs. So you really purchase your theme license, install it onto your website.
And what type of costs are you looking at for the themes? And
it's so affordable.
Yeah.
You know, it's between say $30 and $80 maximum.
Wow.
And you actually get a lot of support from the theme author. So a theme author is someone like myself who's a developer who's designed a custom built theme, and that anybody can go on into this marketplace like Theme Forest and purchase and put it onto their own website and begin the customization process. So the last step is obviously, customizing it to make it look professional, which is where you probably need a little bit of assistance in this space.
And I guess that's the make or break piece, right?
Yeah, definitely. So elements to ensure DIY success.
And these are your tried and tested tips as we went on. You've tried all the different platforms, built 2 websites just for yourself and then gone on to sell them, built websites for a bunch of clients. And I can say all this stuff because, you know, it's you're not big noting yourself. I'm just letting everyone know about your expertise because I truly admire them. And we've seen Susan and how much, you know, you helped to grow her website or the customers and the sales because of the great website. So when you're saying that these are the elements to DIY success, I have to believe you.
Yeah. And I guess putting it like that, I'm quite proud of what I've achieved. And I really have the confidence to bring this message because I really believe in it.
Yeah.
So building a website in the right order, you want to make sure that you start at the beginning and finish at the end. And
sounds obvious, but I guess you can get excited and maybe get stuck into something when it's not quite the right time yet.
Exactly. You know, get set up with the right hosting, you know, there's definitely lots of pros and cons with, you know, picking the right hosting, comparing different hosting providers with one another, looking out for the right features, and just ensure that you're with a reliable host because ultimately they're taking care of your website on the internet. And you want to make sure you take the time to create beautiful images. I have a formula for creating, you know, beautiful images for your website because a lot of clients and students have come to us sort of saying, look, you know, I've got content, but where am I going to get my images from?
Yeah, assets is a huge thing. Yeah.
It is a huge thing. And, you know, there's heaps of free image libraries and there's a way to actually create your own branded up images specifically for your website. And really strong messaging and taking the time to really think about your brand, your unique selling proposition, and how you're going to weave that into your website so that you achieve a lot of success with it. And so investing the time to research in all the elements and really learning the right way and not just fumbling your way through it and, you know, sort of slapping it together.
Good tips.
So we believe, like this lady here, that it can be done in 28 days. So let's break it down. So we think in the first week, we believe it's all about setting up. So we would definitely say it would take no more than 2 hours. So choosing your domain and checking for your availability.
So that someone hasn't taken it already.
That's right. So you may have a fabulous business idea and with a really funky name, and, you know, you may go ahead and try to start, say, setting up your WordPress, but really you need to check domain availability to make sure that you can even have that name. Because if somebody else has got the domains and, you know, all the essential domains, then that's a no-go. So it's choosing the right hosting, installing your WordPress, and then, you know, I guess over that week you can really start to feel your confidence increase because you're really starting to get the hang of it. And sourcing that, I mean, I would have to say this is the fun bit, sourcing a professional theme. There's a bit of a strategy to finding the right theme and, you know, a method to install it on your website. You know, it looks great in the marketplace and you think, great, I'll just install it on the website and away you go. Well, there is a formula to try to do it correctly, and there's a step-by-step method. Again, I have to say it only takes a couple of hours to do this.
And once you pick the right one, it's like you can build from it from there.
It's quite exciting. Yeah. So this is the fun bit, customizing your website. So these are just a few of the things that, you know,
you can achieve in like the 3rd week of getting your website built.
That's right, yeah. So I haven't put a time frame on this because it can take some time, and it depends. The sky's the limit in terms of customizing it. So the beauty of themes is it comes with all the demo data, which is really like an empty shell. It's to say, here is the content placement here are the images here, replace them with your own content and images.
And this will what it look like once it's populated, because I guess it's kind of like buying a house and, you inspecting it for the first time with the furniture there and it looking great, and then you purchasing it and arriving and it's been empty and kind of regretting having buyer's remorse. So I love that it comes with the demo data so that when you install it on your website, then straight away you can visualize what it's going to look like when you're finished with it.
That's right.
It's exciting.
Yeah, and this really is the hardest piece, because I wish it was as simple as add it up and then it's one click and away you go. But really there is, quite an extensive learning here, and it's quite in-depth, but really rewarding. As you can see, it's kind of unfold as time goes on, and it's really much simpler than you think. So this end phase is the go live phase. So we cover things like backing up essentials, security plugins to make sure that you're hacker protected, and, browser testing, because believe it or not, a website can look a little bit different on different browsers. You may have seen that yourself.
Yeah, I mean, you don't worry about Internet Explorer, I'm guessing, but some of the other key ones, you need to make sure that, the website looks fine.
Yeah.
And better than fine.
Definitely, to make sure that you're completely good to go, and sending your website live and the order in which you actually do things. So to ensure that you achieve success when you're actually pressing the live button. So, adding an online store is another, essential piece to learning, especially because WordPress predominantly used to be a blogging tool, and they've actually added WooCommerce as a way to get online. So don't forget, another reminder that we're giving away 20 free orders.
Yeah, and I think we've gone a little bit over time already, but we'll be wrapping up shortly. So if, you are in the business of a website audit, then stay on the line.
Definitely. So we thought we might introduce our How to Build a Website in 28 Days platform. So what we've built is a really robust, step-by-step, actionable training program that's run over the course of 28 days. It's a platform that you learn from with really interactive step-by-step lessons where we'll actually be building a website together. And
that's the key, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like that you're not going it alone, that you have someone and, support from Hayley as a professional developer now and tried and tested.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really wanted to not make it high level and make it really specific. And I basically hold your hand throughout all the training videos in the right order so that you have a complete understanding of how to put your website together. So it only takes a few hours a week to get through it. We offer something quite unique with our weekly huddles to support you. We run IG Digital, and our mantra is creating a very supportive community of like-minded women. And so we get together once a week where there's a Facebook group, and we run live huddles for an hour, and you bring your curly questions or where you're up to with your website.
And it's video based, so you feel, I guess, there's a face there behind. It's not just a sterile course where you're left just to build something yourself. It's like Hayley's right there and caring. And the weekly huddles are just, actually someone the other day asked if it was a weekly cuddle. And I think the huddle actually gives you the same feeling as what a cuddle does.
Yeah.
It's nice and supportive and there for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And
when the technical stuff gets tough.
That's right. Yeah. So a private Facebook group, and it's an opportunity to network with women who are in the same boat as you, and, even network amongst yourselves, and you get lifetime access to, the complete program, which our students just love.
Yeah, I think it's always good to brush up on certain elements of your website. You can log back in and check out that module at any time on the platform.
Yeah, and it's a self-paced course, so you may not have time right away to do everything at once, but you will have lifetime access for when you do have time, those couple of hours per week. So the first 20 signups receive a free website audit, because once you've completed your website, you might need a professional like me to overlook it and make recommendations of what I would offer to improve it. And I think that's really, a valuable piece to the program, because I can really steer them in the right direction and provide lots of recommendations to get them on the right path. So, yeah, it's been great.
So the investment for the course, so the 4-week course, online platform with the weekly live huddles and hand-holding with Hayley.
Yeah.
That actually rhymes.
Just two.
So you have an introductory offer, Hayley?
Yeah, of $297. The course is usually $397, but we're introducing it at this low cost. And so we just wanted to go over, we just wanted to highlight.
That's an actual huddle.
It's an actual huddle. I tried to find one.
We're a little bit more pretty than that, but yeah.
But you won't really go it alone. We often see so many online courses where, you pay to sign up and there's
and you've probably done them yourself, or you just never do any of the stuff in the course because no one's holding you to it or telling you, even though at the end, like ultimately you'll have more knowledge. Like this course, you'll actually have a tangible product to show and somewhere to start bringing in sales. Like it's just, there's so much motivation to complete the course, plus with the personalization.
Yeah, I think that, with the weekly live huddles, everyone thinks, wow, I have to go and do some of my work and, chip away at my website because I've got the huddle and I want to be able to share with everyone where I'm up to and get advice on, some of the stumbling blocks. So really you won't be going it alone. You have us to hold your hand along the way.
Well, specifically Hayley, but, I like to add in any digital marketing tips, especially as we mentioned, making sure that the website is set up correctly for Google, which, that now comes second nature to Hayley because she's built so many and we've been into business together and, like SEO is a huge consideration for websites if you are looking to bring in leads through Google.
Yeah, definitely. And we really love to help and to serve and, it's kind of our passion to be able to share our knowledge and our expertise.
I guess it's why we started Ida Digital. To empower, business owners like yourselves to actually do it yourself because, we've both been there and done that and want to continue to serve.
Definitely, I'm a mum to 3 babies and I've just figured it all out and, I'm really excited to bring this to you, especially with our weekly live huddles. That's me. Doing our latest huddle. I promise you I'm happier than that I look in that.
No, I think like the passion definitely comes through in those huddles because I guess, we could easily just leave the platform as self-serve and log online and do it yourself, but it's the huddle element that we've added just for that personal connection. And it's the piece that really shows that, you care, Hayley, about your students and about them getting their website done and finalized and up online.
Because I really want my students to succeed and to learn and feel motivated and inspired and to build their websites. I guess I want to see some success too because then, that kind of, makes us successful. Here's an example of our step-by-step video lessons. So when you log in
to the digital school,
this is what you'll actually see. So these are training videos with a resource checklist to keep you on track. And, I hear a lot of hesitation with people saying, but you don't have time.
I don't have time.
Yeah.
28 days if you follow, the modules. And the thing is, it's self-paced. So if you need longer than 28 days, that deadline is simply there just because we know it's possible to achieve. But there's no reason why you can't set your own deadline to fit in around your schedule. Everybody has busy lives. Hayley obviously has 3 children, so she completely understands. And till, you get your website up, this perhaps is a side hustle. So you're coming home and doing it at night. So, there is the time if you make it. I like this quote.
Yeah, I know. I learned this from another digital marketer who said, having no time for marketing is like having no time to make sales or bring in leads. So I think when you're thinking about putting it together a website for yourself, I guess it's putting aside time to really make a success of your business because a website, a good robust website is a huge part of that. So this is, a glowing review from our past student, Tammy Wong. She loved the easy-to-follow training videos and week huddles, which has any concerns or ask questions to help build her site. So I love hearing such good feedback. And Jackie Hartman, another recent student, Pan Haley's teaching style, so easy to follow, a real standstill with my theme, and help me to overcome.
So that's one of those opening can of worms where it can be a lot of fun, and once you master it, I'm sure you feel amazing. But there's so much choice out there that it can be helpful to have someone with like yourself with the expertise to make recommendations or just really to give yourself permission to take the next step forward.
Yeah,
it's okay, it's now time to choose your theme and move on.
That's
right. I can
right.
imagine at home, you can go through them like a huge index and just get a little bit confused. So that guidance is just, crucial.
Yeah, I helped break it down for Jackie and really led her to, a short list of themes and really helped her to see why that theme was important for her brand. Yeah, so this is another review from Sarah Canada from This Woman Can. She sort of said that I was an amazing designer and developer, had a specific vision in mind when rebranding, creating my website, had is very thorough in terms of briefing and communication as well as sticking to the project timelines. So I was just so happy to hear that feedback because don't forget I'm self-taught. So, all of my skills and expertise was never learned in a workplace or at uni or at TAFE. I'm completely self-taught. And to receive a glowing review like this is really exciting for me.
I think as well, just you should be proud for helping, this Sarah, for her vision to come to life. Like her business is all about empowering women and basically I think it's, a place to house articles and feature successful women, and she had a vision, a very strong vision, and I know that you helped that come to life for her. So, in the fact that she's got a professional website now.
It's very rewarding to see. Yeah, definitely. So again, this is the another reminder of the program and what it includes: the 4-week step-by-step training video and the live huddles, the videos resource checklist, the private Facebook group, and the website audits with my professional recommendations. So if you'd like to join us, feel free to go onto the link iDoDigitalCo.com.au/website.
And you can grab the 297 deal straight away. Grab it.
That's it.
Or email, I guess, with any questions, hello@iDoDigitalCo.com.au.
Definitely.
And you'll also see us in our Facebook group.
So ultimately what we want to do is we want you to walk away feeling inspired, motivated, and ready to take action. So we hope we've opened up your eyes to the possibility of actually creating your own website and knowing that it can actually be possible. And I promise you, you would feel so rewarded and fulfilled knowing that you've learned something new and be able to, take action to actually implement it and have a site that you built.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks, Hayley. I'm sure those tips have been invaluable, and it's always a good refresher for me as well as to, the right way to approach a website build, which I think, can be full of lots of choices and you can easily make the wrong one. So hearing, that taking the right steps and the strategy and I guess your approach given your successes is awesome. So if you want to grab that deal, I personally, and I'm a little bit biased, think it's an awesome one. Basically, it's one-on-one coaching or group coaching with Hayley to get your website online. We have gone a little bit over time, but we do want to answer just a couple of quick questions. So they've been submitted while we've been on our masterclass, and we'll keep that link up for you /website, so iDigitalCo.com.au /website for you to jump onto that deal, and you can start building your website as of tomorrow. Really, that content's there for you. So we have a question from Natasha just regarding hosting. So what exactly hosting is? I guess we might assume that people know what that is, or
Yeah, definitely. So hosting is a central place where your domain lives and where your website lives. So hosting, can affect things like site speed and how much memory is on your website, and they really house your actual website and how it operates and functions. So, you want to make sure that you look out for features such as hacker protection and decent bandwidth and complimentary business emails. And
Oh, that's nice.
yeah, so there's lots of features to look out for, and it's important to do your homework to find the right hosting for your brand. And as I mentioned earlier, SiteGround's fabulous for hosting. It's a really good, cost-effective option.
And I guess, do you go through all of the features of hosting and the pros and cons in the course?
Yeah, at the beginning of the course, we take a run through of comparing some of the leading players out there for hosting, what the features that they have, how much the monthly cost is, and how to really put all the moving pieces together, how to get your domain and sync it up to your hosting, how to make it go live while you're in maintenance mode, so while you're working on developing your website. So some of the real fundamental pieces at the very beginning we cover.
And we'll just take one more just because we are a bit over time. Sorry about that. Of course, you can always reach us in our ID Digital group. So just /groups/ID Digital and ask any questions in there, and we'll try our best to get to them. But just from Joe, and it's actually around themes, which we kind of did discuss, but what's your best tips for choosing the right theme for a website?
So I would say to go into Theme Forest, that's our top pick, and then search by industry. So if you're an accountant, you would search by, say, tax or tax accounting, bookkeeping, something like that, and then you'll see a list of options. Or I love to go into the creative section and search by just not searching by a keyword, but just having a browse and having a look at other people's inspirational websites to get an idea of exactly what you would like or would not like for your website. So you can find similar themes that have a similar format and style, and look out for things such as parallax, which is sort of images moving over the top of one another, and different styles of mobile. Yeah, it is fancy. Mobile and tablet view. Again, look in the demo link of each of the themes to have a look at sort of a live view of potentially how your website could look.
Yeah, and I guess also maybe checking out competitors and what they're using and doing as well. As maybe that you can do something different and make a short list or screenshot the ones that you like and then compare it as to what's available in the marketplace.
That's right.
So, thank you everyone for joining us. For any more information, visit that link, or you can email us directly or post your questions in the Facebook group. Lots of ways of getting in contact with us. And all digitally, of course.
Oh, yes.
All on the line.
On the line.
So, thanks, Hayley, for sharing everything with us.
Thanks for joining us.
And over and out, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Bye.